Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new video. So this review will be broken apart into two different sections, one of them being the non-spoiler section and then the other being the spoiler. For some reason the chapters on my YouTube videos haven't been working, so if they don't, here is a timestamp. This is when the spoiler-free review ends and when the spoiler review starts. So if you skip ahead, that's on you. If you see a spoiler, I told you first and foremost, fix that attention span, brother. So yeah, let's get into it. Let's talk about this movie, what I thought about it, but most importantly, I want to hear what you thought about it. Leave a comment below and tell me what you thought about The Monkey. So The Monkey is a quote-unquote horror film made by Oz Perkins, based off of the short story by Stephen King, The Cocaine Goat. Is that going to get me demonetized in the first 5 seconds? I'm not sure if Stephen King wrote this book when he was on cocaine, but I did the parallels, I looked at the time frames, and it seems like he might have. And honestly, it does seem like he probably was. I have a fun fact for you guys. Do you know that Stephen King did so much coke that he would shove tissue paper in his nose to stop him from bleeding on his typewriter and his paper when he was writing his stories? Mans was addicted to it, but he's okay now. He doesn't do that stuff. Let's get this out of the way. I love a good Stephen King movie, Stephen King book. I don't care how campy it is. I don't care how outrageous the storyline is, the haunted lamp that flew across the room and ate the world. I don't care about the story. I just love Stephen King. He's my boy. He's my man. So I kind of came into this film with a bit of Stephen King bias under my belt. And I also really liked Longlegs. I have a whole video about that. So Oz Perkins directing this film also got me excited. I did not see any trailers for this film. I do not watch trailers. Trailers these days, dude, they just give away so much information about the movie. And I love going into things blind. So right off the bat, I was excited to see this movie, okay? I'll admit it, I did have expectations. I was not level-headed with this film. And if you want to hear my overall thoughts and you just want to leave the video right away, I thought The Monkey was okay. I thought it was pretty decent. Let me talk about it more. I think the beginning of this film was done really well and was super intriguing overall. It showcases the early life of these twins and how everyone around them started dying because of this evil ass monkey. I found the setting, the voiceover narrative from Theo James, and the humor worked really well here in the beginning of the film. It gave me the Stephen King vibes. It felt really good. And right off the bat, you could tell that this movie is not a horror film. If you're going into this movie expecting Longlegs or anything related to that, don't expect it, because this movie is a comedy with basically zero horror elements. It is a gory comedy film. And I did kind of go into that expecting it, so I wasn't necessarily disappointed by it, but you could be if you're expecting something terrifying. The reason I found the beginning of the film done so well is that the humor is fresh, it's new. These people are dying, it's kind of funny the way it's happening. But the problem is, the longer the movie goes on, I feel like it just got worse. Nothing after the first 30 minutes surprised me or caught me off guard. And it felt like I was on rails of a ride that I've been on 1,000 times before. The premise of someone dying in crazy ways got pretty old as soon as it started. And that is the whole driving force of this film. That's the whole entire premise. That's what all the jokes are built around. And I feel like you can only get away with it so much. I didn't expect the premise to get old going into the movie, because I thought the kills were going to be a lot more insane. And unfortunately, they weren't as good as I thought they were going to be. Don't get me wrong, some of these kills are actually pretty crazy. I love the use of the practical effects in this film. I thought they were hilarious. But I thought it was going to be more over the top, Final Destination, more intricate, something falling and then swinging and then connecting to this and then connecting to that. You know what I mean? Just those crazy Final Destination kills, but most of it isn't. It's kind of just 1 point, 2 point, dead. And I also didn't like the use of CGI that much in this film when it came to the kills. I think some of it looked pretty bad. I kind of wish a lot of it was practical. And I mean, a lot of it kind of is, but the CGI does definitely get in the way a little bit. And yeah, I think that's where my spoiler-free review is going to stop. I think this movie is really fun. But if you don't click with the comedy, you are not going to click with this movie, and that is just how it is. If you do not find the humor in this movie funny, you are not going to enjoy this film, because it is a comedy first and foremost. It is not a horror film. Luckily, I did find most of it pretty funny. It's just some jokes, when they don't land, oh my gosh, you can feel it. It is just No one was laughing in the theater, only at select moments where it was actually pretty funny. But nothing was like, oh my god, this is the funniest thing I've ever seen. It's just kind of in that little giggle, maybe a little breath out of your nose, you know? I think some of the kills were pretty cool. I think Theo James is pretty good in this movie. I think the story is a little bit nonsensical. I do not think the story is very good at all. It is very predictable. It is very stupid, but I love a little bit of stupid. This movie is not very serious, almost to a fault, but nothing really sticks with you. You don't really feel any emotional attachment to anything in this movie. Like I said, it's just like you're on a ride. You already know the outcome. You're gonna start and you're gonna end, and you basically know everything that happens in the middle. But this movie is very short. It's very neat. I think it is very fun to watch, and I do recommend you probably should check it out, just because, you know, if you have nothing going on and you're just bored in the middle of the day, this movie is definitely something you can throw on and have a pretty good time. I do not recommend going to the movies and watching this film, though. This is definitely not a movie theater movie. Definitely could have waited for this to hit the streaming, or I could have bought it on Amazon or something and watched it on the 4K 70-inch. But yeah, I really do not recommend going to the movies to see this. I know it sounds like I'm really talking shit about this movie, and trust me, I did enjoy it. I really did. I don't think it's anything spectacular or groundbreaking in its genre, and that's completely fine. That is completely fine. But I did expect more from Oz Perkins, and I did expect more for this film. So I am a little bit disappointed, but I still do recommend it, and I still think it is a pretty good time. Now let's get into the spoiler zone. I don't really care what I'm going to talk about here. I'm just going to start rambling. So when I was talking about CGI earlier, I was specifically talking about the part where the girl like jumps into the pool and the pool is like electrified and she blows up and her leg goes flying, and the leg, I know I've mentioned this before, it looked like those like Shark Boy and Lava Girl Final Destination 3D parts. It just flies at the camera, so it's supposed to like come out at you when you're wearing the 3D glasses. That's what it looked like to me. Yeah, some of the CGI was just kind of distracting, and honestly, I understand that movies have budgets and not everything can be practical, but if it works for them and it does tell the story, it's not super distracting to people who don't really notice like the difference between practical and CGI or have a preference really. It still tells the story, and it still tells the story pretty well. And it is still really fun and over the top and ridiculous, so it's not a massive gripe. It's just a tiny one I have. I'm just a very big loser when it comes to practical effects, dude. I love practical effects so much, and I thought this movie was gonna have a lot more. Now, let's talk about the main character's older, evil twin brother. This whole entire plot of just, I don't know, dude. It was really stupid to me. Basically, the whole entire problem was summed up and fixed by Theo James saying to Theo James, "That's my mother too." And then the twin brothers, "Oh yeah, I didn't even realize. I didn't even think about that. We're cool now." And then, you know, they go to shake hands and he does the hand behind the hair, and then he gets his fucking head blown off by a cannonball. So that was fun. I don't know. I just did not really enjoy it. The more I'm talking about it, the more it seems like maybe I really didn't enjoy this movie that much. I think it was specifically the end of the film that kind of left a sour taste in my mouth, like when they're driving the car and he's with his son and they see I'm not sure if it was his mom or his grandma or something on the horse. And why did they add some sort of weird paranormal subplot? I know people in the comments are going to start writing their essays about this, but it just felt so out of place. It seems like just this weird last minute addition to the film. I also think when the monkey started beating his drum and going crazy, and then like the plane crashed and the whole entire city started setting on fire, I was like, dude, what am I watching right now? And then the people started falling from the sky into it was too goofy. It was like, I feel like it just got so messy right there at that exact part. Like I had basically no idea what the fuck was going on. Like I get it, the monkey, you know, you piss the monkey off. The monkey's choosing to kill everybody in the town. But it kind of lost me there. I was like, all right, everything is out the window now. And honestly, I don't even know what I'm looking at. Some of the CGI there at the end was a little bit sussy. I really could not tell what was going on. I'm just going to keep calling him Theo James, even though there's two of them. But you know what I'm talking about if you've seen the movie. When Theo James is losing his kid and like, "Dad, why don't you love me, Dad?" Dude, I'm sorry. I do not care about that. I do not care about this. Dude, this is turning into a rant. I'm so sorry. I gave this movie 3 out of 5 on Letterboxd, right? I don't absolutely hate this film. I don't know, man. Overall, I'm very conflicted on this film. I think that it is fun. I would recommend it to most. I do think it is pretty funny at points, and I feel like I'm being a broken record right now, but I feel like I just expected more. I don't remember the last time I've like actually been disappointed when it comes to a horror film. I try to pick out films that I know that I'm going to enjoy to see in the theaters and to review, because I don't really like being negative when it comes to horror films. And I also don't like wasting my time watching bad movies. And I'm not saying this is a bad movie, but this is definitely one that I picked that I thought for sure that I was going to enjoy, that I'm a little bit more conflicted on. I'm battling demons here, guys. I don't know what to think. If I sit here and record a video like this where I'm breaking down every part of the movie, yeah, it starts to seem like the movie isn't that good. But when you watch it as a whole and you're there in the experience, it's literally not as bad. It's definitely not as bad. So overall, I'm going to say that I recommend this film. I do not think it is perfect. I do not think it is amazing. I think it is just there. I would say that it is good. It is a good film, and you should watch it because it is kind of funny. That is all. Have a great day, great night. I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.